Welcome back to Greenville, South Carolina. A lot of people weighed in on FoxNews.com about those candidates who are not here tonight. So as we near the conclusion of tonight's Republican presidential debate, we figured we'd try something a little different. A lightning round about those candidates. Each of you will have 30 seconds to answer the questions. I will start. Mr. Cain, you supported Governor Romney in 2008. What did you see in him back then that led you to support his campaign?
Back then, I saw his business experience, which I concluded that meant that he understood how to create jobs. And like then and now, the creation of jobs is one of the most critical issues that we have in this country. That's why I supported him. I'm running now rather than supporting Mr. Romney because he did not win. So I'm going to try my time.
Thank you, Mr. Cain. Chris.
Governor Pawlenty, you've been campaigning for months, especially in Iowa. Mike Huckabee is still considering whether to even run, and he's already beating you quite badly in the polls, even in Iowa. Sir, if he gets in this race, are you out of business?
I love the Huck. I know him. He's been a colleague of mine and a friend, and I know Janet, his spouse. He's a wonderful man, and he's got a big heart, and he's got a lot of talent, and he cares about this country, and I appreciate him very much. But you know, my views and his views may not always line up. I think they mostly do in many things. But no, I'm planning to be in it if I decide to do this, to win it in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, and everywhere else. And I'm still not very well known outside of Minnesota. And as I get better known, I'm getting more and more support. So I think the momentum is on my side.
Shannon Breen.
Congressman Paul, a lot of folks consider you the founding father of the Tea Party movement. Now, Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann has founded and heads up the Tea Party caucus in the House. Has she eclipsed you?
Well, she's not here tonight, so she hasn't quite done that. So, we attend Tea Party meetings together, and of course the Tea Party movement was started during the last campaign when there was a special day where they raised $6 million spontaneously, and that was the beginning of it. But no, I don't feel threatened.
Thank you, Congressman.
Juan Williams.
Senator Santorum, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, after pulling out of this South Carolina debate, appears ready to announce his presidential candidacy next week in Georgia. As a social conservative, Senator, do you have a problem with Gingrich's past personal behavior?
I think that you should be very careful about how you deal with those issues, because all of us make mistakes. And just because we make mistakes, we shouldn't be at all inhibited from going out and saying what's the truth. It's because you fall short doesn't mean that you can't stand up and say, this is the right way to do it. I didn't always live up to that, but this is the truth. And there are some who like to cower people, like to bully people from standing up for things that are important in society that we personally fall short on. And so I'd say to Newt Gingrich, stand up for the truth and let the chips fall where they may.
Governor Johnson, if you had a reality TV show like Donald Trump does, what would it be?
Wow. I'm stumped. I'm really stumped. You know, I'm an active guy, so reality TV for me would be to spread this whole notion of physical activity and competition, and the notion that we should all live in the present. I don't think it would be Donald Trump's show. I don't think it would be Sarah Palin's show either, crawling on her hands and knees up the ice fall in Alaska. But
you mentioned.
Wow, I'm just totally stuck.
I understand, and that's fair. You mentioned that you like to work out. We understand you've run 30 marathons.
I've run 30 marathons.
What are
in
you
my
running
lifetime.
away from?
You know, I got to stand on top of the planet also. I had the good fortune to summit Mount Everest, which I thought was, I have a goal to climb the highest mountain on each continent. So now I get to finish my reality show. I hope to climb the highest mountain on each of the 7 continents. I have 3 to go, so my reality show would be trying those last three.
We knew we'd get there.
Thank you.
Governor, thank you.
Thanks for the break.
Each
man.
candidate has 30 seconds for closing remarks right now. We will go down the row. We begin with Congressman Paul. Congressman.
The big issue today is the budget and the deficit. We approach it in Washington by looking at it as an accounting problem, and it isn't. It's a philosophic problem. Until we decide what kind of government we want and what the role of government ought to be, we can't solve it. The role of government ought to be there to protect our liberties and to take care of our personal and provide a free market economy and to provide for the national defense, which means that we bring our troops home and we restore sound money to this country.
Mr. Cain, your closing remarks, sir.
Fellow patriots in this exceptional nation, the United States of America, we need real economic growth, a real energy independence plan, real national security clarity, and we're only going to get it with real leadership, not more positionship. God bless you, and yes, God is blessing America.
Governor Pawlenty.
As I travel America, it seems too many of our fellow Americans feel that America's best days are behind us. Let me tell you, they are not. I grew up in a working class family. I led my state in a conservative, common sense direction. We can restore America's promise. I know that because I've lived it and I've lived the American dream. But we're going to need to restore common sense, American common sense, to Washington, D.C. I hope you'll join our cause and go to timpawlenty.com to find out more.
All right. Senator Santorum.
A lot of people up here can check the boxes and say they have conservative positions, but I've led on every one from social conservative issues, on life and marriage, and I've got the arrows in my back from the mainstream media to prove it. I've led on national security issues, in cases, again, sometimes against President Bush, on issues like the Syrian Accountability Act and the Iran Freedom Support Act. I've been out front on national security issues. I've been out front with your colleague here and my former colleague, Jim DeMint, on Social Security, on Medicare, on welfare reform. I led on welfare reform, ended the only federal entitlement we've ever ended that I'm aware of. I was the one that carried the water on that. It's not just checking the boxes, it's having the courage to lead.
Governor Johnson.
I'm an entrepreneur that ran for governor of New Mexico promising to bring a common sense business approach to state government, that everything was going to be a cost-benefit analysis. I got reelected in a state that was 2-to-1 Democrat. I think we're on the verge of a financial collapse unless we balance the budget, and that means some really, really tough choices that are all doable, and they're all doable under the context of a common sense business approach to the way government does business and a cost-benefit analysis that goes along with everything that government is doing. Gary Johnson, 2012.com.
Gentlemen, on behalf of Chris, Shannon, and Juan, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. That is it for tonight. Our thanks to the candidates and their staffs, to our debate partner, the Republican Party of South Carolina, and also to all the great people here in the Peace Center in Greenville. They could not have been more hospitable to us. All the candidates, please note our next debate is in Ames, Iowa on August 11th, right before the famous Ames straw poll. We will see you there. Thanks for watching, and good night.